to go straight here because it is Friday and Tom and Heather danced in the countdown like no one else.
Danced.
That was our exercise for the day,
You're
babe.
being very generous with the term dance there, but thank you. Heather's good.
Yeah, Heather has the dance down. I mean, she needs to teach you a thing or two. Because Tom,
tried.
I'm not sure what that was exactly, but oh my gosh, it is Friday. That means open Q&A day around here, and I brought on two of my favorite people, even though this is the first time we're meeting officially, and that is Tom Buck and Heather Ramirez. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much for the invitation. We're so excited to be here.
It's very, very flattering to be here.
Oh, now I'm super, super thrilled that you said yes to me. And if you guys don't know, I know a lot of our community already knows you guys, but those of you who don't, Tom helps you level up your audio and video on his YouTube channel, Tom Buck, and Heather helps you guys create your corner of the internet through YouTube. You guys want to give a little bit more explanation, and then we're going to answer questions. Like today's Q&A day, so we're going to get into the questions. But yeah, you guys intro yourself a little bit more than that.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start. My name is Heather. I started documenting my journey in building a business in 2016 when vlogs, I was super influenced by Casey. So I jumped on the vlog game, and I thought it would be a really cool story to look back on. I had no idea how to start a business. So I wanted to document all shades of that, and that all evolved into me helping other people share their stories on YouTube, and now I'm a YouTube coach. And in that journey, I actually got a comment from someone who was leaving their first comment on YouTube ever, and it happened to be this guy. Who found me on YouTube because you were searching.
I was starting a YouTube channel. I had been influenced by Casey, so naturally I was researching boosted boards. Because you needed an electric skateboard in 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
And someone had a boosted board review, and I watched that, and then YouTube recommended another video where she was talking about like promoting digital media and teaching people digital media skills, and that's when I was like, I feel like I need to. Yeah, I'm a high school digital media teacher, and I was like, I should let her know that this is a good thing, and that's where that started there.
Yeah, so we connected in person. And eventually we got married.
The rest is
now
history.
We are here. Yeah,
that's so cool. I love to hear stories like that. It's just so cute.
Yeah, so when people complain about the YouTube algorithm,
the thing is, never complain about
it gave me exactly the right video at exactly the right time. So I can't complain about it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Patrick says you had me at boosted board.
Yeah.
Aw, summary, Heather is lit.
Yeah, that's the summary.
We got some great stories and awes in the chat room as well. So, we've got a ton of knowledge right here at your fingertips with the three of us, right? And I know that I was saying this before when we were doing tech tests and setup, that I think Heather and I would totally geek out on the strategy side of things. I totally geek out with Tom's side of things as well with the hardware and all of that. So we've got everything kind of covered for you today. So if you have questions about the tech, if you have questions about growing your audience, about strategically doing YouTube or content creation of any kind, like that's the thing to do here today. Definitely. So all you need, sorry, go ahead.
I just said yeah.
Oh, I made that awkward.
That's all right. That's what I do.
So if you do have any questions, go ahead.
No. Did you already go?
No. Hello, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Our audio disappeared.
What are you guys doing over there?
Oh, there we go.
Our audio disappeared. I don't know what happened. But
we hear you now.
Oh, because I went to
that. Yeah, we can't hear you.
Oh, what happened there?
Now we can hear you.
Bad scene. Sorry.
Okay. I was like,
why are you talking while I'm talking, guys? Huh? Come on now. What I was saying was that you want to put a Q in front of your question if you have a question. That way it makes its way into my queue so that we don't miss a thing. We've got 25 minutes left for public Q&A. Then we're going to go into member-only chat, meaning if you, just making sure my audio is still on, if you are not a YouTube member, well, then now is your chance so you can continue asking questions after we go into member-only chat. So are you guys ready?
Yes.
I'm ready. That was
Let's
awesome.
good
go.
intro.
All right, so going into the first question from 100 Watson Wire. My channel focuses on ham radio. Do I need to have the words ham radio in every title? It's always in the description, but I've been doing this. It's like a line with ham radio as an addition to every title. What say you guys?
It's funny you ask because my grandpa was a ham radio operator for my whole childhood. Had a big old
That's
antenna on the
awesome.
side of his house and like the room and everything. So ham radio is near and dear to me. That has nothing to do with the question though.
No, except now that you have a new friend.
Yeah.
my first thought would be don't necessarily need it in every video unless you think it's going to be really relevant. I think having it in the description is super smart, so it shows up. It's a searchable term. Unless there's a creative way to do it, like how to, I don't know, turn your ham radio into something cool or how to do this
Right.
with your ham radio. But I feel like if it fits or it's really necessary to throw in the title, but if you feel like you're shoehorning it in, then you probably don't need it.
Yeah, I think as long as it's part of your overall branding and it's very clear that, your channel is about all things ham radio,
Yeah.
I don't think you need to necessarily put it in every single title.
Right.
But as
Like,
long as it's in the description and stuff, yeah.
Is the name of the channel ham radio?
Yeah.
If that's there, then yeah, it's even less necessary. But if you're not using TubeBuddy already, use that to really dig into keyword research. We have a couple of videos on this channel. Do you guys have any videos on TubeBuddy?
We don't have videos on it, but we both use it and
Yeah.
really love it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a tool that's a must
Definitely.
in my opinion. Yeah.
Absolutely.
While we're talking about TubeBuddy, I just see this come through. They suggest 20 to 30 tags. Do you need all in there? Also, each video should have different tags. Yeah. So, I mean, from my perspective, what I've always heard is, use what you got, right? If you're
Exactly.
allowed 30 tags, then use them all.
Yeah, I think it's a wasted opportunity if you don't, it's just another signal to YouTube for what your video is about. So I think just use all 500 characters, however that divides up into the number of tags, because we all know that tags can be phrases too. Just use all 500 characters in the YouTube tag keyword box.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go at it. And yes,
Yeah.
be different about it. Like every
Go
video
ham.
should be different. What?
I said go ham.
Go ham.
Ham.
Oh, good. This is going to be good. I can already tell. I saw a question come through about your tech setup right now. So why don't you guys go through what your tech setup is over there?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're fortunate in that we each have our own office /
Yeah.
studio, so we're very lucky that way. My setup's definitely the more like over the top one, but Heather's is growing, which makes me proud. But yeah, right now we're just using the Rode Pod mic into the Rodecaster Pro. If you've ever watched my channel, you know that it's like a recurring
His
character.
signature setup.
And the limited edition. And then we've both been using the new M1 Mac Minis now to do
So
everything,
much fun.
and it runs everything really, really well. And lights everywhere. I finally recently redid this room where there's every light is a dedicated video light, which just basically means that no matter what, there's not going to be any flicker or weirdness like that, which is so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That flicker can really get you.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and then I should mention too, we're using the Canon EOS R with the Sigma 24 1.4 lens into the ATEM Mini for a camera.
Okay. I'm just making sure you guys didn't hear that sound, did you?
I did. The boom.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm muting sound effects. Sorry. Whoops. Pro right here. So thank you for that tech walkthrough. For those of you who don't know, on my side, I'm using the the Sony A6100. Look at what you did to me, Tom, saying Canon.
Sorry.
Sigma f1.4 lens, and I've got 2 lights plus a hair light over here, plus lights on my walls, plus a light over here. Over here with a plant light. I'm using a Rode NTG4 Plus at the moment, but I will be swapping that out soon. Going back to the algorithm that we were just talking about with 100 watts in a wires question, I want to point this out, and this is directly from YouTube. This is going to be something I'm going to be harping on going forward. The algorithm is human. Like, you need to focus on human connection and the viewer themselves in order to win at the algorithm. That's like the most important thing, which is not what everybody thinks.
Yeah, you're not trying to crack the algorithm. The algorithm's trying to crack you.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you just do you and focus on your messaging to your people.
Yeah.
And the algorithm will work for you. That's what YouTube is spending its entire team on trying to do, is understand us as creators and the audience.
And so if you're if this thing's trying to figure out what people want, but you're trying to figure out what this thing wants, and it's like
going backwards.
a snake eating its own tail.
Yeah.
So if you just do your thing, the best videos you can that make sense for a good audience, then YouTube can kind of take over from there, hopefully.
Exactly. And I think that everybody gets that wrong, going into YouTube, because they hear about the algorithm. They're like, well, I gotta do it, right.
Yeah.
Well, right is by paying attention to who you are serving, and that's it. Cool. It can make you crazy. It can, but it doesn't have to. It's really simple at the end of the day. Actually, curious, because how long did it take you to get to 58,000 subscribers?
For 3.5 years. Yeah, it took 6
Okay.
months to get to 100, a year to get to 1,000, 2 years to get to 5,000.
And then just the last
2.5.
totally
Yeah, last
insane.
January I hit
Yeah.
10,000.
Okay,
and now
wow.
It's 58.
That's
So,
awesome.
Definitely been fortunate to see that growth curve.
Yeah. And I
is
noticed
great.
you really like got more niche as well over the last little while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which was great. And I, that's the recommendation. But the tricky part with going niche is sometimes the thing that seems like it might be a good niche thing might not actually be what you want to be known for.
Yeah.
I started my channel and it was very much a hodgepodge channel, and I did a lot of 3D printing videos, and they did really well. Like some of my first videos that crossed, view milestones of 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever were like 3D printing videos. But after 8 videos, I had, that was everything I knew. So it wasn't really sustainable, and I didn't want to go more into it. So it's very important to know, if you have to make just so many videos, it is a good idea to make them, niche down, I guess, as they say,
Yeah.
but also make sure your niche is something that you're not going to get tired of, because
you can talk endlessly about.
right. Yeah. And for me, I really love, I've always loved the DIY, you can be a one-person crew kind of doing everything. And especially just in the last couple years, there's so many tools that have come out, like the A10 Mini, Ecamm, all this stuff where you can be a one-person production
Studio.
crew doing everything, and it looks good and it sounds good, and it's relatively affordable. And that to me is just so exciting. So I've just naturally been focusing more on that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I love it. I have to call this out because everybody was yelling at me about my sound, so I fixed that. But your dog is chewing on his bone against the table. That's what you're hearing from them.
Oh,
It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. Don't fix it. I'm just letting everybody know what that
Yeah,
sound
we have a
is.
corgi, and every time we go, because I think they know when we go live.
They
We sit here,
do.
we have a whole setup, and then he just built it in where he chews the bone against either the metal chair or the metal table that we're on, and then
I know. And the
Such is
flip side
live.
to that, though, is I have, when I do my Zoom classes, I have a a little timer, a countdown timer to let me know when to start the next class and the whole thing. And they've gotten to the point now where when they hear the timer sound, which is a honky sound, they get up and walk out.
they know that they have to leave. See, that's what we should have done. We should have played the honky sound.
But if we're both in here, then they just go out there and they want to be in here. So it's
Yeah.
That's funny.
I don't know, but
Doc is watching a little late. I think he's like trying to catch up or something because we'll switch Tom to Team Sony soon. So.
I don't know about that, Doc. I don't know if I'm gonna take that prescription.
No?
I lied. If I had no investment in anything, the A7S III is like probably legit the best straight up like video camera you could get right now. But for me, like I love my Canon stuff. I got lenses and batteries and the whole system, and
it's a whole workflow.
Adding in another new thing, I just didn't want to. But if I was starting from scratch, I mean, like, yeah, they're really nice. And like the 6000 series, like the 6100, 66, 64, they're so like compact and look good, and they're great.
They look great. Very easy to get set up and look good. So. Okay, next question. Ed, can you talk about licensing music for live streams and how to assert those licenses with your CDN in advance, not to get shut down, especially going to YouTube or Facebook? One of my favorite topics ever. Go ahead, though, guys.
Well, we just use Epidemic Sound.
And Artless. Those are the two I use. Artless was my first one.
Yeah.
And the reason I chose them was because their licensing is so good. There's a video on my channel about this, but Artless Licensing is basically you have your subscription, you have to pay for the year, which is like $200, I think, something like that a year. And then you can just use the songs like in any capacity, client work, on any channel, whatever, forever. So even if you cancel your account after a year, you can still use the songs you downloaded.
Well, the songs that you used, not downloaded.
The songs.
No, even ones that you have that you've never used, but you downloaded while you have a subscription, you can still use them.
Well, once you cancel your subscription, you can't use them anymore.
You can with Artless.
What? Oh, with
in perpetuity. It's in their licensing. It's amazing.
Wow.
The downside is they have a smaller library. So Epidemic is where you can use everything once you cancel your account. All your stuff that you made is totally safe, but you can't use it anymore, which makes sense, and that's kind of
that makes total sense. Like,
but Artless just did their other thing, but it's so flexible, and so I kind of, in my mind, whenever I don't know, like, oh, could I use it for this purpose or not, or this, I always just default to Artless, just for that specifically, and their licensing is super clear. Like, I mean, I highlighted my video where I like show the screenshots and stuff. So I promise I'm not making it up. But also, like, if you go to their website and do licensing, they're very, very clear about it, and that's a huge, huge selling point for them. Even though their song library is a little bit smaller, and it's a little more like I don't know, like there's certain genres they just don't have, I guess.
Right. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the Epidemic Sound catalog, just because, I mean, I'll listen to that just myself, like jamming in my house.
Just for funsies.
Yeah,
exactly.
totally.
Yeah,
it's
good.
I've never gotten a copyright claim with Epidemic. I have with Artlist, so that's why I don't use them.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so weird. I've only ever heard of the opposite anyway.
Really?
See, this is like I've heard of people with like, I have an Epidemic subscription and I got a strike, which of course will get cleared up really quick.
Yeah, it's easy to clear it up.
That's so weird.
That's
I don't know.
Interesting.
Well,
there you go.
Why.
A couple of options, some pros and cons.
Yeah. I mean, just be aware of the licensing for whatever you choose, because there's also like an abundance of other services out there, but just licensing, they all seem to have good support. I learned through Heather the importance of, like, sometimes if you go to a website and you reach out to tech support, you won't hear back. But if you go to their Twitter and either like tweet at them or send them a message, you'll get a reply in a couple hours maybe or immediately. So if you got questions, I always just reach out and clarify specifically with the place.
Yeah, for sure. But just don't try and get around it. That's the key here. Is like you're not going to win by trying to get free music that you can play on Facebook and YouTube. Sorry. I mean, Facebook and YouTube have their own catalogs.
Yeah.
I can't say they're good, but, that's the only
They're
free.
there.
They're there.
Yeah. The YouTube one expands more and more, but it's for YouTube. So if you wanted to then like podcast with it or stream to Facebook,
simulcast,
obviously that's gonna, So
not
definitely got to be conscious of your use case.
It's worth the $15 a month for Epidemic Sound
or
whatever it is for Artless. It's
question.
so worth it. Especially if you want to dance. To countdown music. Brian says, thoughts on the Mac Mini M1 for Ecamm and streaming, and get the 16 gig RAM? I know that you just did a video on this.
Yes, so shameless self-plug. My second most recent video is all about the M1 Mac Mini.
Yeah.
We both have the base model, and I, in my video, put
Which
it
is
through
8 gig, isn't it?
It's
The
8
base
gig.
model?
8 gig.
Yes. I put it through a ridiculous stress test, and it handled it like a champ. The only thing that caused problems actually was Photoshop, and that was a Photoshop issue, not a Mac issue, and it cleared up really quick. So maybe go check that out. I mean, more RAM's never going to be bad. The big thing with the Mac Minis that I've learned since making that video is people are saying, well, the reason it's so fast is because it's writing over the hard drive and the RAM, and it's going to wear out the hard drive really fast. And I've looked into it as best I can with my like relatively limited computer knowledge, and that seems like there's truth to it, but it's also being wildly blown out of proportion. It's like, well, that means the hard drive could fail in 8 years. And yeah, okay, I don't care. Sure.
Thank you.
You know what I
Coffee
don't
Talk.
use for 8 years? The same computer. So like, it's fine.
Well, and that's one of the decisions that you need to make, right? How often do you change out your gear?
Right.
And what does future proofing look like to you? Because not everybody is the same. Some people do already just change every year anyway. Some people wait 5, 8 years to change. I mean, 8 years is going to be a long time to change for
Yeah,
students.
if you're into
long time.
video
That's a
and
very long
media stuff,
time.
that's
Yeah.
that's a long time. I mean, I have an 8-year-old or a 7-year-old MacBook that actually still works. I wouldn't really like edit video on it now, but I could. But anyway,
Yeah. I have
if
2
you're in the media
computers that are
world.
in that age range, and I would never stream with them ever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Coffee Talk, for the super chat. 6 months into my journey. Yes, congrats. Started watching Tom and Luria last summer and Tom and Heather 2 weeks ago.
Yay.
Great info, and you both seem so genuine. They are, aren't they? They're awesome.
We always appreciate you in our couples table stream.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Will an M1 last until I retire? It depends on when you're retiring.
Yeah. If it's within the next 8 years, probably.
8 years on a 1K, a sub 1K computer is a bit ludicrous. Exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, individual use cases, I'm sure there's people who will have computers fail in a year or something, but I also know like if Apple's banking on, look at us changing the industry with our own processors and stuff, and then everything failed, that would be very bad for this giant company. So I have a feeling that like that's not going to be an issue to worry about.
Yeah.
It would
So
just be
there you,
bad.
hopefully I would go for I would personally go for as much power as you can get, as you can afford. So Bruce in the house. Hi Bruce, good to see you. ISS radio, oh wait, I already answered that question. Patrick, have you ever been on the other side of the camera and rented your studio to a client and being the tech guy? Have you talked about that? I've done that in the past. What about you guys?
We both made the same sound.
Well, pre-COVID, Tom and I,
Right.
one of our business ideas was to build a studio that people could rent out. We would have classes there, and it was going to be a whole networking hub thing. But our studios are in our house, so we have 4 bedrooms. There's a master, there's a guest room, and the other 2 bedrooms are our studios. So we have not rented it out.
It's a little awkward, come on in my house.
And it depends on what you're doing too, because for some people, if there's I know a very common YouTube setup which looks great, so I'm not in any ways like desk with like a rolled paper backdrop and just solid color backdrop, and that's the kind of thing like anybody could sit in and swap out. But
ours is so branded to
it would be weird if someone else was sitting in the blue room.
Yeah.
I've had people over the past year say like, could you send me a photo of your studio so I can use it as a Zoom background? And I'm like, I'm like really flattered, but no.
No,
Because
that's mine.
it is like my space that I built. Everything has like
these are,
a
like, our
meaning to
pictures
me
and
in
stuff.
it. Like I don't.
Yeah.
It's like, I appreciate it, but it's more fun to build your own thing that has your own personality and meaning in it.
Exactly. People have asked me to and Paul, the magical Mr. Paul Dixon, our graphic designer, has threatened this to sell, because we have a store where we sell template graphics, like to sell me a video of me dancing so that they can put it in their countdown timer. And I'm like,
that's funny.
I don't think so that doesn't seem quite right. Sammy coming in with a $5 super chat. I have a 1998 PowerBook G3 and it still works. The hard
Wow.
drive hasn't failed.
See, there you go.
It's got some power in that book. Man.
Jeez, that's crazy. Oh, somebody wants this layout. This layout is brand new. It's not in the store because as soon as like this morning, Paul was like, we don't have something that's going to fit both of them at the same time. so he just made it a couple of hours ago. It looks good though.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Patrick, have you ever been? Oh wait, we just answered that question. Houdini question specifically for Tom. I'm this close to ordering a Canon EOS R as my main live stream camera. Would its 30-minute recording limit be an issue for live streaming or recording the stream?
No. So I've been using the EOS R exclusively for a couple years now. I have 2 of them, and I've been using specifically this exact one for the past year for like all my work stuff. So it's on, gosh, anywhere from 5 to 10 hours a day.
At a time.
Yeah. And I just run it off of batteries, which is like a big, shame on you. But the battery lasts like 3 to 4 hours, so I just swap out the battery in the middle of the day and I'm fine. The reason the recording limit's not an issue is because typically you're not recording while streaming with the camera. So as long as you disable auto power off, it'll stay on as long as you have power. You could buy an AC adapter for it as well. You could record if you wanted to record your stream and you're using something like Ecamm, you can just record into Ecamm. And as long as you've got hard drive space, you'll keep record
going
forever. As long as the camera's got power and your computer's got hard drive space, you're good. And so I've had no issues whatsoever.
Awesome. So sorry, I'm looking at comments. We've got 4 minutes until we go into member only mode. Member only chat. Sorry, you guys watching in public. You can still become a member. You hit that join now button in the chat box, or you can go to livestreamingpros.com/membership and join so that you can continue asking questions, so that you can continue hanging out, so that you don't have to deal with FOMO. But if you aren't able to join, then you can always ask your question as a public viewer once we go into this mode with a super chat as well. That is a possibility. Now, Broadcast Canada became a member. Whoop, whoop. Welcome, Bruce. Thank you so much. Okay, lots of questions to answer. So we're going to go into rapid fire mode. How does that sound?
Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Israel, how do you work with Logic Pro, Loopback, and Zoom?
You don't use Loopback.
I just got Loopback, so I'm learning it.
Oh, great.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't use Logic, but I use Audition, and the Rodecaster is my main audio workhorse.
Awesome. Tom, there's not much to learn about Loopback. We have a video about that, but I'll also send you just a screen cap. If you set it up exactly like mine is, then you should be good to go.
I think yours is one of the videos that I was watching.
Oh, okay.
The installation was the hardest part, but because you have to go into like a security setting thing. But otherwise, it's great.
ISS Radio, what's the secret to growth promoting in other magnets and channels? Promoting in other magnets and channels. I'm not sure what the magnets is. But growth promoting in other channels. We'll take it from that. Go, Heather.
Yeah. To me, if you're promoting your YouTube channel off platform, like say on another, like Instagram or Facebook or something like that, lead with the value first. So, one of the things that I do with our live streaming that we do, the couples table, every Thursday is I just make 1 to 2 minute clips and I create them as vertical video, IGTV, 30-second clips so people can see what they're missing out on, kind of give them a taste of what to expect on the YouTube channel if they did subscribe. But I think, the discovery process on YouTube is different from how people discover your YouTube channel on Facebook or another platform. So giving them a little taste of what it is that they're missing out on is a great way to do that.
Yes. FOMO.
Yeah.
I love FOMO. Okay, Javi wants to know about your lighting. How are you doing your lighting? What kind of setup?
Nan lights.
I'm going to make a lighting setup video soon, so don't worry. But the Nan Light Forza 200 is my key light bouncing off a wall. The Falcon Eyes RX818 is a big hair light up here.
You haven't done a lighting video?
Not with the
That's
current
crazy.
setup. Got
okay.
got a fill light over there, and then all the accent lights are either Nanlite Pavo tubes, the big long, they look like fluorescent lights,
Yeah.
or like these little lights behind me and stuff in here are like Aperture MCs, and the Aperture, I forget the number, it's like BV7. It's the one that looks like a regular light bulb that you can put in. It's like an Aperture Philips Hue bulb, but it's better because it's made for video. So that's my lighting setup.
Awesome. Seventh scroll. Would you recommend Canon over Sony for live stream? Well, we're going to argue about this.
You can't go wrong. I'm not.
I
You
think
can't go wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong.
Oh, nice. I was just about to press that button. I was just reaching for it.
Oh boy.
Renee, which part of streaming process do you hate? Setup, post-production, etc. That's a great question.
I think I guess the setup is, I mean, I don't hate any part of the process. I think live streaming is so much fun. I get it's not for everybody, but I think the most tedious, I guess, would be the setting up part, making sure everything's like, I mean, we all live stream all the time regularly. We still run into problems. So there's just things that you can't anticipate. You just have to do the testing. So that part's a little tricky, but post-production, post-stream, during the stream, fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hate my worst part is I think the prep, the content prep part of it, like finding a title and a description, putting the description
Yeah.
out there, and
Okay,
all of that stuff. That annoys me. I'm like, really, I have to do this?
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's see. It's member only time. All right.
It's member only time.
It's member only time. So here's what we're going to do. We are turning on member only chat on YouTube, Facebook. If you're watching, you got to head on over to youtube.com/livestreamingpros. Now, if you want to keep asking questions, if you want to keep talking to Tom and Heather, if you want to stay part of the community, that's why you join. Plus, you get access to member-only content. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to be doing a private member stream where I'm testing a brand new live video software that I haven't told you anything about yet. So I'm going to be testing that for the first time with you guys tomorrow. So there's a lot of behind-the-scenes extra content that you get by becoming a member. You can click that join button right now and become a member, or you can go to livestreampros.com/membership. I'm just going to assume my team has gone into member only mode. I'm just going to assume we're there. I was like for confirmation, but it takes a little second. Okay, no, Patrick, keep watching. The thing is, so keep watching. You don't have to go away, and if you don't have to ask a question, we're always around, right? So like we're here live 4 days a week. Tom and Heather are live constantly, so you've got a lot of us to go around. You don't have to leave; you can still watch. Okay, we are in members only mode. So welcome, members. We need a little dance. Hold on.
Oh, we need a little dance, babe. Here we
Oh
go.
boy. Here's the lawnmower. There it is.
Welcome to our new members. All right. So, members, go ahead and ask your questions with a Q in front of your question. We did have a question come through from a member about connecting multiple cameras to a USB hub. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure.
Ecamm, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Ecamm Mini is so freaking good. That's what I would recommend. There's always more than one way to achieve your goal with streaming stuff, so I always want to make sure that my way is not the only way, but Ecamm Mini, it can take 4 HDMI inputs. It's your capture card also. It's not 4K, it only goes up to 1080. They have multiple different models. I have the base model, which is the least expensive one. I kind of push people if they're looking though. I think the Pro tends to be the sweet spot for price and function for most people. For sure. So that's what I would recommend looking at. It's plug and play and it's awesome.
So I actually on Tuesday stream the 9th, I'm going to be doing a video all about going ATEM and software, ATEM only or software only. And so I'm going to be breaking that down for you guys. I think this is, as Tom just mentioned, there are lots of ways to accomplish the same thing, right? And so you need to figure out what it is that's right for you. And that's what I'm going to do on Tuesday's stream, is break all of that down. The thing is when you are using software like Ecamm, you know, plugging in multiple cameras, yeah, you get that 4-camera setup, but the con to using the ATEM and software is, like, especially with Ecamm, you can't use camera overlays then, because your ATEM is bringing all of your cameras into a single source, right? So like so me and then you guys are individual camera sources coming into Ecamm. So I have a lot of control. I can move you around. I could do some fancy things, right?
Oh, I never even thought about that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So ATEM is just one camera source.
Yeah, because if I had more cameras and I switched right now, our frame would change, but it might not look good based on like the setup that we have.
Yeah. So some things to think about. I'll dive into that more on Tuesday, but I know that you love your ATEM, and I love it too for certain things, but I also think that there's a lot of lost, capabilities from that perspective too. So, but to each his own.
That's why
Everybody
you're the
has
pro
a setup
at live stream.
No. It's just you got to just think about all the things that you want, your end result, right? What is that? And then you start from there. Sammy asked, what is your favorite part of Ecamm? Both of you. Because Heather, you're using Ecamm specifically on your own, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with your streams.
Yeah, to me, it's just like I like simple. I like really just simple. The easiest thing, take away the friction for me.
Yeah.
And what I really like about Ecamm is that on the viewer end, it makes things look really impressive. Like every time someone is going to leave a comment that's like, wow, this is so legit. And it's like, it's crazy how it allows you to be that one person broadcasting team. And it's so easy to use. It's so intuitive. There's, setting up scenes and doing all the custom overlays and stuff actually doesn't take very long. I mean, I did mine in like 5 minutes. Creating the graphics and all that can take forever, but actually setting up the scene, it's like, it's crazy how intuitive it is.
Yeah.
And for how cheap it is too.
Because it seems pricey when you're like looking at the plans or whatever, but it's like,
but if you're gonna live
like
stream,
$1 a day, really.
Yeah, if you're live streaming regularly.
And what I like is, it seems like if you have an idea, there's a way to make it happen. You might have to learn or figure it out, but like it really doesn't seem very limited in terms of, I want to be able to do this, and you just have to figure it out, but you probably can.
Yeah, totally. And it is so simple, so intuitive, with a lot of functionality. I mean, they've done an incredible amount over the last year of adding brand new features.
Yeah, I know, because I think that's when I was watching your video, when I was learning about Ecamm. Like I was doing all these searching, and I was like, oh, this new feature. And I was like, wow, that wasn't a feature before? Like, that's crazy.
They update it like every week, it seems
I
like.
know.
So.
That's and the developers, woo woo, ISS Radio, now a member, welcome.
I love that pop-up. It's so cute.
You should, I don't know, you've probably never seen our big super chat. We kind of minimized it. It was like a full screen Abby the Chihuahua. But no, she was like playing guitar and everything. Like she'll play guitar, the sax. Like it's just a funny little super chat. But
I love that.
It's quite distracting, so we kind of turned it off. Because it's like I don't know, 15 seconds and it plays music and everything.
That's cute.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Ecamm and the team. They're just amazing. Patrick, thank you for the super chat. Looking forward to Tuesday's show. Still undecided. All right, Patrick. So I think you're going to be able to make a decision because I'm not going to tell you one way or another. I'm just breaking down the pros and cons for you. So you'll be able to say like, oh, well, this matches my needs. So in between then and now and then, then just make sure that you think about what it is the end result is that you want, right? Lisa, welcome to membership.
Yay.
Okay, so where was I? There was a question that I was trying to pull up. There we go. Recommendations for a music streamer. That's along your lines.
Ooh.
I'm confused about, is it like music?
Like the lo-fi music on
Like, or is it like for a person who streams music?
Well, so
or...
David Hunt here sings, plays I don't know what instrument you
Oh,
play.
okay.
So
Okay.
I'm guessing he's talking about performance.
Performing.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I mean, if you're already doing it, you're probably beyond where I would be at with music streaming. But anything that lets you have multiple audio sources is
Yeah.
good. Any kind of mixer, basically every mixer and interface is USB compatible too, and most of them are plug and play. But the more you can do that, and then playing around with microphones, this past year has been like me going microphone crazy and just learning about different ones
So
and
many microphones.
the way
in the
they
house.
sound different and the way they like perform differently, and it's just that's really fun to like search for the mic that just like makes you feel and sound as good as possible. It's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps or not, but it's fun.
We did inside. I don't think David, you're not a. Yeah, David, I don't think you're a Streamer Accelerator member, are you? Because we did a music stream like session with one of our members. I don't do music. Like, I have no talent whatsoever. So we had one of our experts do something about that. But what he was doing was programming. So Robbie Sco programmed different, like, kind of triggers and automated processes to change cameras. So I think he has like 6 different cameras in his studio for all of the different instruments in the band.
Cool.
And like it would just cycle through and kind of feel on beat, you know? And so like he has a keyboard cam and things like that. So
That's awesome.
if you've got that much going on, David, then you can do a lot with it. So there's, I find like guitar, like guitar, what's the thing
Strings.
called?
Neck?
Well, the
String?
neck.
Fingerboard?
Yeah, thank you. See, I'm very, very expert wise. I'm a big expert in terms of music. But the neck, like if you have a camera on the guitar neck, like I love those cams. So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's real fun to watch.
All right. Let's see. How much RAM would you recommend for live streaming, Ecamm, Zoom, etc.?
I mean,
Well, yeah.
traditionally, I would say as much as possible is
Yeah.
probably the safest answer. And the new M1 Max kind of throw a curveball there because 8 gigs has been fine for us, but that's with that very specific like chip.
Yeah.
But otherwise, just as much as possible. You can't go wrong. Like, oh no, I bought too much RAM. I don't think anyone's ever said that.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh no. Apex, welcome to membership. Now you get to ask questions. Now you get to take part in the extra behind the scenes content. Mr. Poseidon, I have a black diamond quad 4-camera hookup. That's hard to say. Great. Until it came to live stream, Blackmagic Quad only handles one application. Yeah, the Blackmagic stuff is a little tricky. Have you dealt with Blackmagic much?
Why does that sound familiar?
Oh yeah. Oh, because like they
Yeah.
make the Ecamm, but they make it's Blackmagic stuff is in my experience designed to work with Blackmagic stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to give you like the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things I've just been like, I think I have a video about like one capture card I had that I was just like, I hate this thing so much. Like, because it worked. When it worked, it was
Yeah.
fine, but I could never get it working. But it seems like the newer Blackmagic stuff is easier and more reliable. And I got to say, like, how critical I've been of them in the past. They seem so responsive now to the creator community and like the new
good.
cameras and the new software.
Yeah.
So they seem more nimble than some of the bigger companies in terms of like, we have this idea, we're going to try it out. And maybe that means it like needs some fixing afterwards, but I've kind of learned to appreciate them in a different way over the past like year or so. So it doesn't answer your
Yeah.
question, but some stuff is funky and some stuff is super easy, and you kind of don't know until you try, I guess.
Yeah. David says, in terms of the ATEM, you could program ATEM macros. Sure, you can, but do you really want to? Like, are you using macros?
I don't use them, but I've played around with them, but
Mm-hmm.
I need like the immediate flexibility when I do that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Are you guys always using a wired connection? Lisa wants to know.
We've never
We
used
should
a
be.
wired connection ever. We have to,
What?
yeah.
Oh my
This whole
God!
time,
I'm just
we have to,
I'm canceling you. No, where's the end button?
we need to like get someone to.
Because we gotta
send
like
a
call the
wired-
guy to go into
Yeah,
the
they have-
attic to
yeah.
run the cables and knock the thing in the wall,
Like
and it's
where
like
the connection is, it's not in the
Uh-huh.
bathrooms.
it's
so
just we've
we've just been putting. I mean,
we've
now
just been
I'm
putting it off. It's been
shocked.
on our to-do list. It's
Yeah.
literally like this month, call the like internet company to do this. And they're like, we'll do that next month.
I know.
And it's been years. So
Wow.
sorry.
I expected that to be a simple, yep.
But
yep,
nobody
all right,
noticed,
moving
right?
on.
I know.
Nobody knew.
What's your speed?
Slow. It's supposed to.
We have like
It's supposed to be like 500 megabits or whatever, but it's it ends up being maybe like 100. Or no, it's like it's
like 120.
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. Clearly, I mean, it
120
works
up?
enough. No.
120 down.
120 down. It's usually maybe like between 15 and 20 up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not simulcasting. You're just focused on YouTube, both of you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you don't stream at the same time, I assume.
No.
Well, we have in the past because I'll be on Zoom and you'll be on a thing.
Oh yeah. Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
Because I live on Zoom all day, every day.
Yeah.
That must be fun.
Oh, yes.
Member baller. We're so glad to have you. Oh, David Hunt wants to hear a drum demo.
Oh, I mean, I could.
Do you have
if
anything
you-
hooked up?
I mean, they're just.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. That's awesome.
I mean, I could play a drum for a second, but it'll sound very, very loud.
Yeah. It's
But if you want me to, I could.
So it turns out we're still on Facebook, apparently. I'm going to go kill that.
Sorry. See, our dogs are so mad about Facebook.
So mad, so upset.
Yeah.
You guys talk about something else in your setup. What are you most passionate about right now? Go while I fix things over
Microphone.
here.
most passionate about when it comes to live streaming.
Yeah, your setup.
Yeah.
I mean, like for me, so Tom and I are kind of on opposite sides of the spectrum when it comes to setup. Tom's a very like super production fan. Like I said, I'm just, I wouldn't upgrade anything if it weren't for Tom, because I'm of the mindset, like if it breaks, then fine, I'll upgrade. But I like what I have. So what I focus on is like, how can I make the stream a more fun experience for the people who are tuning in? And what I've been thinking about is like, okay, let me try to introduce more segments. I only started live streaming weekly as a YouTube coach, doing my Q&As just this year. So it's still relatively new. And I'm trying to think like, okay, if I'm trying to create a space where people can feel like they're getting accountability when it comes to building their YouTube brand, how can I better serve them? Does that mean taking screenshots of the goals that they set for the week? Does that mean doing channel reviews? Does that mean highlighting their progress? Things like that. And I don't necessarily need to have like a different light for that to happen. But Tom, I'm lucky because Tom will just come into my studio and be like, hey, I have an extra light, or I have this other microphone. You're going to use it now. I'm like, okay, cool. Awesome.
That is true.
Yeah. How about you, Tom?
keep going.
Wait, what was the question? It
What's
was
like your favorite
the
part of
passion
live
things.
streaming? Yeah.
I mean, there's so much I've been.
Well, let me ask you this. Why don't you live stream more often on your channel?
Time. That's all. It's time. Because it kind of comes down to like, there's just, not enough time to add one more thing usually,
Yeah.
at least consistently. But that's the only reason. I love live streaming though. It's great. I'm currently actually literally right now, if you're into the Ecamm mini community, I'm sure you know of Aaron Parecki, who just crossed 20,000 subscribers yesterday. It sounded like his manager or something. But I'm pointing out here because on the other side of this wall, I have my 3D printer going because he released his own design of a stand for the Ecamm mini that also then you can like attach, like a monitor to and audio to and all this stuff, or even a second Ecamm mini. So I like bought his 3D print files to try it out. So I'm really like, that's what I'm doing right now. So that's what I'm excited about right now.
Yeah.
I love it. We need to see that 3D printer on stream someday.
Oh, yeah. See, the 3D printing still lives.
I know.
Real quick, I'm going to answer this question. If you have a problem, please don't DM me. I know nothing about how to fix things or where things are. That's why I have a team. So if you have a problem with anything that we sell, if you can email support@livestreamingpros.com, they'll be able to help you. I don't even know where we keep certain things. So like, I'll just ask you that to email support. Please don't DM me because I can't help you. Let's see. Oh, I've done searches for various reviews on things, and Tom's videos have popped up. They're always very informative and wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much. I love to hear that. Good job, YouTube.
Good job. Algorithm.
Yes.
Yeah.
The algorithm works in you guys' favor a lot.
When it wants to.
Oh my gosh, kombucha! I made a partner crawl up in the attic with 300-foot cable and drill a hole in the ceiling so it can be hardwired.
Yeah, I mean,
The
we'll
peace of
do it
mind
soon
is
for sure.
Sure.
is a necessity.
It's just gonna go on April's to-do list and then
Yeah.
May.
No, it already is.
Yeah, it's definitely not happening this one, but definitely.
That's
maybe.
funny. I have no idea. Oh, Starlink. What is Starlink? Is that
I've
an
never heard of
internet
Never
service
heard of it.
provider?
it.
I have no idea.
Oh, I guess I don't know.
Oh no, you made the dog bark too. Ah!
We have two,
And when one barks, the other barks,
And they just
they don't
rally
even
Yeah.
know what they're barking at.
yeah.
Well,
No,
what's
they're
the
not.
most embarrassing thing that's happened to you guys on stream?
Oh my! Last week I had my camera die.
Oh,
Like it just died in the middle.
During the middle
Oh,
of
no.
No, it wasn't even that though. It was a stream on her channel where the guest was like a friend who was wanting to live stream on his channel, and so Heather was like, "Be a guest on my show, and I'll show you
'Cause
that
he had-
live streaming is easy and fun,
Yeah, I
and it's
know.
great."
He was so scared of live streaming, like, you know, and the way it's like baptism by fire, you know, you just got to jump on and you'll realize that whatever you're afraid of isn't that scary once you just do it. And then of course that's the stream that my camera just died, and
yeah.
and then, you know, the stream was still going, like you still hear us, and then Tom just had to, like, you know, tech support real quick, switch the camera out, and then but it was great because everyone in the community was like, see, you just roll with it, you just got to go with it, and they stuck around, and you know,
And she's so good under pressure in these situations.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, it's all good.
Because you could still hear her, and she was just like, "Oh, look, Tom's plugging in a thing right now. I don't
Just
know."
like
And she was still going with the chat and
walking
everything.
through it.
So
Yeah.
like, that's not how I handle those situations.
How do you
I
just
know.
freak out?
Oh yeah,
I get like,
immediately.
and it's not immediate, but if there's too many things happening, like we're trying to have a conversation, trying to pay attention to the audience, trying to keep the stream going, and then there's some weird thing. Like there was one day several months ago on our stream where this happened, and like there was this weird thing with the audio going on, and I couldn't get it, and it was just like screwing everything up, and all the comments were just like audio,
And then
we're
Tom
trying to
left.
and I was like, I'm gonna call it. Like I can't do this right now.
So I was just like, okay, guys, it's just me and you. And then eventually Tom came back.
That's
I just
hilarious.
like needed to get away. Although yesterday in one of my classes, because I teach on Zoom, if you do Zoom, you know, you press end meeting, and then there's like a confirmation, like really end
Yeah.
the meeting.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, and it's funny because like my students never have their cameras on or anything. So I ended the meeting, and then somebody like came into my classroom, and I was like, okay, and like I got up and I was talking, and then like I looked over a few minutes later, and like there were just like a couple
All the
cameras
kids
on
were
with like
like-
kids looking. And I was like, click,
we
I forgot to
wanted-
click that second button there. Good thing we didn't say anything
Right?
like weird, but they were just staring at like,
They're
I
like,
don't know, my
wait,
butt for
okay,
like
we know he
3
doesn't
minutes."
know what's gonna happen.
Best attendance I've had all year.
That's hilarious. So Heather, since you're so good at it, what would be your best tip in terms of dealing with things when they go wrong? Like, obviously, you just keep talking, but like, how do you mentally deal with that? And maybe we can
mean-
help Tom in the process.
Yeah, I think like it's a certain person, it's a self-selecting group that is there on the live stream, right? Like there's people who just want the info, they'll watch the video and then they leave. Maybe they subscribe, maybe they don't. But I think it's a certain person who likes the interaction, the engagement aspect of being on a live stream. And so to me, it's like if there are hiccups, it's part of the experience. And if they leave, they leave. It's, you know, it's whatever. But most people end up staying because
Yeah.
I think they, you know, I think it's just part of it. You just
Yeah,
go
I've
with it.
learned that.
But Tom
from
is
watching
like, I mean, you guys can get this vibe from his channel. He likes everything very like polished and
Well, then
there's
I get
a
in my
look
head
to it.
because people, you know, my videos are about like, hey, level up your audio and video.
I
And then if you
know,
watch my
so-
stream and it's just a train wreck, I feel like that's
you
probably
know what?
not good.
I used to think the same thing being live streaming pros, and if anything went wrong,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
and then I was like, you know, because when I'll say this, when I felt like that, I was exuding that to the audience. I was giving them that impression that it needed to be perfect. And so we would have people say, oh, well, live streaming pros, huh? Like, you know, but then I was like, screw this. Like, it's live streaming. It always
live
goes
streaming.
wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
we're the ones like pioneering this, you know, like there's no like school for this. So we're just, we're doing it. It's a certain person also who wants to even live stream in the first place. And I think there has to be that like flexibility and that willing to explore and all of those things. So I don't think it would like hurt your reputation if one unforeseen
I've gotten so
thing
much better
happened.
though.
only if you approach it from a mentality of like, it's fine, you know, like I always just say like, you know, professional means that you know how to deal with it when it goes wrong.
Yeah.
You know how to fix the camera, you know how to do this, right? And then you just kind of have a fun environment. Like you were saying, Heather, people just want to hang out. They're just having fun. So
True.
speaking of problems, phew, I'm glad you didn't have a problem, John. I misunderstood your comment. So we don't have to fix anything. You're just loving it. Thank you. I will watch your video. Phew. I'm like, ugh, I don't know how to fix it. Okay, sorry. Everybody's telling me this. I knew this.
Oh, interesting.
That would be cool.
Super fast speeds. All right. How much, Scott? Who's Scott? How much do you use the interview feature in Ecamm versus Zoom? I think ISS meant Tom.
We'll just assume.
We'll assume.
The only guy here. So it's the guy's I try to use it as often as possible because the main thing that I would use it for would be like podcasts and interviews, and obviously interviews, but where you want better quality audio. And Zoom, like I actually very much appreciate Zoom as much as I'm making fun of it now. Like it's an awesome tool, but part of what it does is it does not save your audio and video quality in its recordings, whereas Ecamm does. And so the more I can push people into Ecamm, it's great. And now I have friends who are doing it too for like their podcasts and stuff. And it's real easy from the guest's end, and it's just the end result is really, really nice. So if I ever need that, I just default to Ecamm as much as possible.
Oh, we have information, inside information. I was your name before the witness protection.
Oh no! How did you find out?
He's like, why are they calling me Scott? Why are they? No. ISS, I'm just teasing you. But they did ask what my internet speed is, and I've got I pay for gig, and I only get between 120 and 200 up and down. It's fiber. So, but yeah, like I don't get anywhere near what I actually pay for. So I got to fix that.
Yeah.
But that's typical of, internet providers. But this one is pretty bad. A gig and only 120 to 200 max at the most.
Starlink.
Going for Starlink. So, Kat wanted to know, do your students watch your YouTube channel? That's a good question.
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a good question. Some of them do, but not because I've never promoted it to them, because it just feels weird. But students will Google their teachers, and if you're good at SEO, you'll pop up. But the funnier thing is sometimes I'll have students who will need to do something, and they'll search it, and then one of my videos pops up as the answer, and then they're like, I was looking up how to connect a thing, and then you popped up. It's like, hey, yeah, there you go.
That's hilarious. Sammy wants to know who told you about Ecamm originally.
I learned it from Peter Gregg.
Oh yeah, that's right, Peter Gregg.
Peter Gregg, he's a photography video channel in Miami, and he streams constantly. Oh, it's Friday. He's gonna stream today. I'm so excited. And he's was really a one man. He does camera tests. So he has 4 cameras set up, and he'll have a little title on each one that tells you what camera and lens, and it changes out every week. So you can really see different quality. And he does the demo mode, and he kept talking about Ecamm. And I was like, this looks really cool. And we were using StreamYard for a while, which was for simplicity's sake. I mean,
it's
nice.
level 2. It's where you start. It's good.
Yeah. But Ecamm was, then the ceiling comes off, and you just go.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're ready to take it to that next level.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Poseidon says, okay, Tom and Heather, Luria's camera is clearer. What type of camera are you using? Obviously, they didn't hear the whole Canon versus Sony discussion, which is why Sony's better.
I think
But
the
it's really
clarity
about the
issue, though, is a
lens.
connection issue here, not a...
Yeah.
Probably because we're not wired.
Possibly.
Because if you watch our stream, I think it's...
And
maybe
by
it's
the
an
way,
interview thing,
you're seeing a lower quality than they're seeing. You
Oh,
guys.
okay.
Because
Oh.
that's how the Ecamm interview system works. You're seeing
okay.
a lower... But
Now we know. Never
mean,
on the
but-
guest stand-up.
yeah, exactly right. You guys look good. Like,
Of course we do.
You guys look really good. Of course.
You're so crazy.
Of course we do. You guys look really good. It's just that I think what they're saying is like mine looks a little bit more like sharp.
Yeah.
And that comes from the camera, but also the lens, the lighting, like the whole thing, right? The internet.
Yeah.
I call that the tech chain. Like if you, every single part of your tech chain has to be top quality in order for you to get the most top quality version ever that you
True.
can, right? So, but I'm also in 60 frames per second. You guys stream?
We're in 24.
Oh, okay. And that might that's probably a big
Yeah.
difference here of what you're seeing. Why do you do 24? Because you like that film look.
No, actually, I mean, I know it's like the film look thing, but prior to having, I actually like the way 30 looks.
Okay.
But prior to switching out all my lights, I was getting flickering with 30, and I
Yeah.
never got flickering with 24, so I just stayed there for safety.
Got
But now
it,
I guess I
okay.
could switch, but my workflow is all 24, so I just keep it there.
Fair enough. What's your affiliate link to the page? We have all the things. Oh, for me, it's /gear. If you, woohoo, Patrick, thank you for the $5 super chat. Livestreampros.com/GLN for me, for what I use, but then /gear for recommendations. Pat, do you guys have a link, by the way?
For
For
mean,
what
check out
your
Tom's
gear
channel.
setup?
I got
Yeah.
links all up in my descriptions.
It's all
You
up
click
in
on any
there.
video, and they're all there.
Shout out to Tom and all teachers. You're very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Aw, that's
Oh,
nice.
that's sweet. Okay. You guys, thank you so much for spending the
thank
hour
you.
with me. I really
Of
appreciate you
course.
coming
Flew
on.
by.
Yeah, I know.
What?
This is so much fun.
It really flew by like it's
Oh,
fast.
it flew by. Yeah,
Love
I
it.
know it did. I looked at the time. I was like, whoa, wait. I gotta let them go. So you guys, thank you so much. Be sure to tell everybody where they can find you. We have links in the description. If you guys liked what they had to offer today, I just adore them as people. They've got great personalities, but also really spectacular content. I've got a garbage truck, so we've got dogs, we've got garbage trucks, we've got the
Fine.
whole
Real
ordeal.
life.
Yeah, real life, exactly.
You guys tell them where they can find you.
Sure. So if you want any information on YouTube tutorials and building your corner of the internet on YouTube, you can check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Heather Ramirez.
And I'm youtube.com/Tom Buck, and I'm at So Darn Tom on Twitter and Instagram.
Wait, so darn Tom.
I know.
It was
I didn't
kind of a
realize that
typo,
was
but
your
we stuck
Twitter.
with it.
That's hilarious. The two teams that have inspired me for my background, you're watching them. Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Wow.
Subscribe to Tom. Yes, fantastic. And to Heather, hopefully, as well. Next, we need an airplane. But instead of that, we're going to let these guys go. We're going to roll the credits. Thank you so very much. I can't wait to do more with you both.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. See ya.